Hey, today I'm going to show you how to paint a quick and easy paint scheme for your Rubric Marines. Now, if you're like me and you don't have a lot of blue paint and you generally like the Pre-Heresy paint scheme of the Thousand Suns, this is going to help you out a lot. Now, I didn't think to record the priming and base coating process, but all I did was lay down a thin base coat of Reaper Master Series black primer through my airbrush and followed that with some white Liquitex ink at a zenithal highlight. This white ink is going to help get some cheaty pre-shading, and it's also going to help show us where all the details are on the model. Now, after we let those dry, I mixed up some Mephiston Red to about the consistency of milk, and I sprayed that over my model. After which, I sprayed all my Rubric Marines with Mod Podge matte varnish. I had no clue they even made this stuff in a can. I got it from Walmart for like $5. Then I'm going to start off with some Retributor Gold, or Armor, or whatever. By the way, make sure your brush isn't too moist when you apply metallic paints. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with some very glittery water. There is a lot of trim all around these Rubric Marines that are just begging to be painted with some bright colors. Retributor Gold all over that nice deep red is really going to help make it stand out. Now, try to go slow and just take your time on all the trim. You're not going to be happy if you accidentally smear gold paint all over your nice red paint job. Patience is a virtue, and it really pays off on these guys. Now, I should also mention that I kept the bolter arms separate from the model so I can easily paint the chest pieces and the back of the guns. Obviously, you won't really be able to see them while you're playing, but it's definitely a good thing if you take the painting hobby a little more seriously. Next, we're going to take some Iron Hand steel and pick out the inside of the bolter magazine, the barrel, and the stock of the bolter. You can use lead belcher or any kind of gunmetal color that you like. My supply of lead belcher was just running out, and I liked the look of the steel color a bit more. We are also going to pick out some of the lower panels of the backpack, as well as the exhaust vents. Afterwards, we are going to use some Eshin Gray to fill in the little runic area on the bolter casing. This is going to help set us up for a really cool glowing effect later on. Jumping ahead a bit, you can see it on the model there, we're going to use some Rakarth Flesh on the little crotch dangly tabard-like thing. Since it's a cream color over a darker red, you may need two thin coats. And do not forget the back. Now, onto some of the washes. First, we're going to use Reikland Fleshshade for all the gold. You can also use the gloss version of this shade if you want to keep the nice sheen, but I'm lazy and I like to just slop on my shades without worrying too much about being precise. Next, we are going to use Nuln Oil on all of these steel parts that we made earlier. You can either water this down to make it a little less strong, or you can use it straight out of the pot to make a nice grungy look. And finally, for the washes, we are going to use some Seraphim Sepia over the Rakarth Flesh we painted onto the tabard. Once all of our washes are dry, we're going to come back to those metallic areas, mostly to the gold, with a Runefang Steel edge highlight. If you don't have Runefang Steel, Stormhost Silver achieves a similar effect, or you can even use some Gehenna's Gold if you want to keep that golden color. Don't feel like you have to do the whole model with this. You can really do as much as you want. Less is more, as they always say. Now let's do this fun little glow effect on the bolter. First, you're going to need some Warpstone Glow. Water it down quite a bit and gently tap it into the runes on the bolter. The paint should seep in and fill the runes. Don't want it to overflow too much. You still want a nice, crisp-looking shape. Once that's dried, you may need to do a second or third go. That's fine. When you have these paints so watered down, they go on a lot brighter than they actually will be. After that, do the same thing with some Moot Green, but only do the runes closer to the center of the bolter. And finally, you're going to come in with some Flash Gitz Yellow and barely get the middlemost runes. And with that, your Runic Marine should be done. Base it up to match the rest of your army and go to town.